Our core business is making it easy for people to be good at what they do through learning and performance support. But underlying everything we do as a company is our core value of profit for a purpose. What that means to us is being able to apply our talent and our resources to help those who wouldn't otherwise get that opportunity or support.
I've travelled a lot, but this time I decided to take a closer look at Cambodia. Cambodia is primarily an agricultural nation. Most of the 15 million people live in the rural areas as subsistence farmers, mainly growing rice. About 1 in 5 Cambodians are considered to be under the poverty threshold, which means they're living on less than $2 a day. Many people move to Phnom Penh to find work to better support their families, and many of those end up living in the urban slums. We spent a week with NGO Flame Cambodia, founded by New Zealander Sue Hannah, so that we could really appreciate what life is like for those in the slums. Some of these slum communities are built on the river, some are built over open sewers, some are on top of cemeteries, and some are along the railway tracks. There's rubbish everywhere, with limited sanitary facilities and limited clean water available. It's easy to get sick here. But the kids play happily in the dirt, alongside the goats, the dogs, the chickens, and only some of the children go to school. Inside one of the slum houses, this grandmother is telling us that in the rainy season, the water level rises and the sewerage flows a foot deep in her house for days at a time. When that happens, they live up on this platform that we're sitting on. She puts her hope in her grandson, who's being supported by Flame. I always thought that slums were free, but no. In places like this, you might pay your landlord from $30 to $50 a month in rent. Then you might pay another $10 a month for power for one light bulb, and another $10 a month for clean water. So that's about $50 to $70 a month just for housing costs. Now I really understand the term slumlord. Typical work for someone living in a slum would be collecting and sorting rubbish for about $80 a month, or working in some sort of factory for maybe $120 a month. If that's not enough to feed the family, the children may have to go to work instead of going to school. Even worse, the little girls may be sold, taken, or lured into bad situations. The alternative to finding a job is to sell something that maybe you've made or found or bought for a cheaper price. This lady sells deep-fried frogs for a living. The frogs were probably caught by her children and deep-fried earlier this morning. Apparently, deep frying kills bugs and bacteria. So I tried one. It's okay for a frog. I spent some time talking to Lisa Vong in Sensok. She looks after her granddaughter, and until recently, they were sleeping under a tree. They now sleep in Flame's activity centre, just behind her. Flame helped Lisa Vong to buy a cart so she could start a little business. She makes deep-fried dumplings, bread balls and pastries to sell to passers-by. She's even got a regular bulk order of 200 a day. She needs to pay back 50% of the cost of her cart, and if she's still in business in 18 months, Flame will write off the other 50% of the loan. Like most people in the slums, Lisa Vong has had a hard life, and she will have lived through the terror of the Khmer Rouge regime. Since then, one son has abandoned her, and another son is in jail for about 15 years after being convicted of an unlikely crime. She needs to take him food so he has enough to eat, as well as providing for herself and her granddaughter. I was interested in how well she's doing, and she told me she makes about $120 a month. I asked her how she could increase her business income. She quickly told me that it would be easy for her to sell more if she just had a bigger pot for the oil, as she was limited to how many she could cook at a time and how long they took. After she had finished cooking that morning and her granddaughter had taken over the selling, we took her to a nearby market. I asked her to go and choose a pot that she would like. She came back with a large pot worth $8. She also wanted another pot, and I didn't quite work out what for due to translations. I then questioned whether her little gas burner could heat that much oil, and although she said it could, I suggested she go find a bigger, better burner. She came back with one priced at $12. So for the price of just $23, my woman business owner is able to double her capacity and her income. So little can achieve so much when it's really needed. But running any sort of business isn't easy. I talked with Son Cham Tom, who Flame helped to start a business, but it's not going as well as it could be. She makes some money, but she needs help, support and advice to really make it work. The women living in slum communities often have little hope or opportunity of improving their lives. But what we can do is help these women to start and grow small businesses so they can support their children and their communities. And this is the reason I've come to Cambodia. I wanted to see the work that Flame was doing and to see how Optimism could make a difference for the women in slums. Together, Flame's executive director Graham and I mapped out how we can work together. So we've partnered with Flame Cambodia. And Optimism is paying the salary for a business coach and mentor to be employed by Flame to help women in slums to start or grow their own businesses.
So even in Cambodia, we're making it easier for people to be good at what they do and helping them create better lives for themselves and their children. But we still want to create a bigger business loan pool. So if that's something that you'd like to help us make a difference in, then please come and talk to me. There's a lot we can still do together and with Flame.